What's up, Trader's Edge? It's Mark Sebastian, your only option with your look ahead for the week. Today, I'm going to give you a look ahead on some of the economic data that I'm keeping an eye on and earnings. I'm going to talk to you about what's happening in markets on Tuesday and why and what that means for the rest of the week. I am going to hammer in a little bit on Bitcoin. We're going to talk a little bit more about the volatility index, and I'll give you a couple of names to watch this week that are on my radar. All right, so let's dig in. Folks, we had a Fed to show you that Fed and interest rates still matter. All right, and they do. The Fed Governor Waller spoke over the weekend and said the market is ahead of itself on when we're going to be dropping rates. And lo and behold, the bond market got crushed. And that has been enough to push us significantly lower. They don't like that. Some other kind of big things that are happening this week. We have a couple of other big Fed chairmen speaking. Bostic is speaking on Thursday. We have Michael Barr and Mary Daly on Friday. We also have Barr on Wednesday. So there's plenty, and John Williams on Wednesday as well. So there's plenty of Fed governors, lots to look at there. We've got some home building and housing starts that I think have been drivers, and Philly Fed. But so not an overly economic heavy week, but certainly there are some Fed governors speak, and that's really enough, I think, to drive us. On the earnings front, we had a lot of earnings this morning. On Tuesday, Goldman Sachs reported, and they liked what Goldman had to say. Morgan Stanley reported, and they did not like what Morgan Stanley had to say. Another big one that people have been watching was APLD, and obviously, again, they didn't love it. There are a ton of earnings this week, so keep an eye on it. On Wednesday, we get Alcoa. That always starts the main portion of earnings. Charles Schwab is coming up, so we're starting to get some of these mid-cap banks. That's going to be a driver, but those are the two I'm watching. Then on Thursday, Fastenal is one that is important. Truist Financial, this is one that we're watching very closely. TFC reports on Thursday, along with KeyCorp. So we've got the mid-cap banks really, First Horizon. So lots of mid-cap banks reporting on Thursday, and then really on Friday, I think the two that I want to watch. There's actually several. I want to watch Ally Financial. I want to look at Huntington, Bank OZK, Fifth Third. There's a ton. State Street, and then on the oil front and energy, Schlumberger. So we're entering earnings week. There's a lot going on and a lot of drivers. So in the end, a lot of these earnings tend to cancel each other out, and you end up with just kind of the thematic of the SPX. But there is plenty to look at. All right, so let's get to the SPX. It is trying to threaten its 21-day moving average again on Tuesday after getting a nice bounce off that on the 11th. If it breaks it and closes below it, we could see a drop toward 40. There's a lot of room between the 50 and the 21. The 21 is really taken off. So there's plenty of room for the market to pull back if that is the case. The Qs, they're actually on a relative basis strong on Tuesday. Why? NVIDIA and AMD. NVIDIA off the highs, but it's having quite the day on Tuesday. And AMD is blowing the socks off. AMD is sitting at what I believe is right near an all-time high. So it has broken out. And yeah, it is right near an all-time high. We got to go back to 2021 for that. Tech, really strong. Microsoft looks good. NVIDIA, AMD, all of those names look pretty strong. What looks weak? Apple. Apple looks very weak. They lost a Supreme Court case. It's now threatening the 200-day moving average. The 21 looks like it's about to cross under the 50. Apple looks bearish. Apple looks bearish. This is a big stay away. I'd be looking to not be involved in Apple or even maybe potentially look short. Amazon down as well. That looks like it's threatening the 21. A name that I'm looking for to potentially rally is Tesla. Elon was out over the weekend and said he wants to own more Tesla. And we see huge call buying in Tesla on Tuesday. Massive call buy for Friday. So for Friday, they're into the 220s and the 225s. They're even going after the 230s. There are some inexpensive plays to play Tesla, but I'm looking for this one to potentially get a bounce. I did put out a trade idea in Delta Strike on Tesla, buying the 225 calls. That trade is already up a little bit from when those traders put in, from when I laid out those trades. Let's talk Bitcoin because it continues to just die. Since it listed, BTCO, the Invesco Bitcoin, has just gone straight down. I kind of walked through why that was the case in a post that I wrote up on Monday. And then, all of the Bitcoin names do look soft. Coinbase, finally found a floor here. But I think Coinbase is going lower. It was down this morning. Mara, kind of a similar situation. I think Mara might be heading to 12. And then Riot Blockchain might go to $10. I think the Bitcoin alternates that people were investing in before they could go directly to the ETF, they're all in peril. They all look like they could be going significantly lower. And there's some interesting things around Bitcoin. In the next couple of days, they're going to list options on Bitcoin. I can't wait for that to happen. Many of you don't know this, but I'm involved in a firm called Amber Data, and they are the leading provider of Bitcoin options information. You're going to be seeing some emails from my friend Greg Magadini. He is their chief analyst and lead options expert. He is someone that you're going to want to read if you want to understand what's going on in Bitcoin options. He's a little wonky, but it will be worth your read. Trust me. Now, finally, VIX. Now, I mentioned on Friday, VIX saw a massive call buyer for February. They had bought the February 17 calls. You can see how many they're open on, 373,000. There is huge upside open interest in VIX. This, if you're a market bull, what's going on in Feb should be concerning. They're long 200,000 of the 16s, almost 400,000 of the 17s, 300,000 of the 20s, 200,000 of the 18s. And on the other side, there's not a lot of big downside open interest in the VIX. That is concerning. The put to call ratio in Feb tells me that maybe we've got a hiccup coming. March kind of tells a similar story. Looking at our futures term structure, VIX and the VIX futures that expire tomorrow are sitting on top of each other. Feb relative to the cash index, the Feb future, really inexpensive. I like, if you wanted to go long volatility, Feb is pretty inexpensive as a vehicle to go long volatility. I might be looking at a long VIX, long SPY play here because the VIX futures are so inexpensive on a relative basis. If we do fall apart, you could see a big outperformance out of the volatility index. And if we do rally hard, these VIX futures may not fall very much. So there's a real opportunity there to go long SPY or SPX and go long a volatility future or a volatility call option. Speaking of trading SPX and VIX together, we opened up the quarterly for weekly profit cycles. If you like going after non-correlated returns and having an embedded crash hedge, then weekly profit cycles is the trade for you. I still think there's a gamma bomb coming. You're going to want to be involved in WPC to take advantage of it. All right, everybody. I hope you have a great day and a great trading week. We've got a lot coming your way. I'm going to be updating on everything going on with crypto over the course of the week and everything going on with VIX. So make sure you pay attention. All right, folks, I am Mark Sebastian, your only option in my professor gear. And I hope you have a great trading week. See you soon.